You're listening to the Get Off My Soapbox podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We want to make the world a better place and share life-educated opinions and have discussions on various topics. Welcome your host. He is a jack of all trades, master of none, and always wants to know, how's your integrity today? Mad Morgan!
Hey, happy Wednesday, happy hump day, folks. You are joining me, your host, Mad Morgan, for another episode of Get Off My Soapbox podcast. Hey, welcome to episode 4. And today we're talking about topics that, might give me a little bit of pushback, a little bit of flack. People might not like what I have to say, but you know what? Hey, you know what? It's my soapbox and I will talk about what I want to. So today we are talking about fakeness for follows, applauding bad behavior, and correcting failures. Now, I know you're rattling around in your head thinking about, what could that mean? What could you talk about? I'm going to explain it all in due time. So just bear with me as we get into this. But I just know there's going to be a few people bent out of shape when it comes to this today. So hang in there. There's a reason behind it all. Let's start off with, hey, it's another week. It's another Wednesday, another episode 4. How is your integrity today? Please let me know how your integrity is doing. How has your integrity been all week since we talked last? Would like to hear more about that. By all means, you can always drop us a line on Twitter at Mad Soapbox. Check out Mad Soapbox on Twitter and let me know. Reply to this particular show as it's posted there and let me know how your integrity's been and how you're doing and whether or not you are being the change the world needs. Because we can only do it if we keep working at it and more people get into it. More people have integrity. More people are making the positive changes that are going to make the world a better place. And also, please check out GetOffMySoapbox.com. That's GetOffMySoapbox.com for more information on this show of Get Off My Soapbox, as well as our daily show, which runs Monday to Friday, usually in the AM before 12 noon Eastern, of Soapbox Daily. And that's our weekly show, roughly 3 to 5 minutes. But lately, it's been going a little over time, closer to 7 and 8 minutes, because I don't want to break content just because I'm watching a clock. I want to give you content. I want to give you the straight goods, and I want to cover topics in completion as much as possible. So bear with me if I do a little overtime, usually about 3 to 5 minutes. So check that out as well. And also, if you're feeling so inclined, go over to Patreon/GetOffMySoapbox. You can also find that link on our website. And if you are interested in any of the benefits you get from our tiers and you can provide a little support, always welcome. You can find a bunch more of those links on our website of GetOffMySoapbox.com. So please, by all means, feel free if you are so inclined to do so. Let's get into today's topics. Guys, we're about 3 minutes on the clock. I just don't see why we just don't get into it. So here it is, another Wednesday. Started off as a gray day, ends up being a sunny day where I'm currently located, and I hope everything is well in your neck of the woods and your neighborhood. I spend some time on social media, and I spend a bunch of time on Twitter, and I know it's a waste of time to spend time on Twitter because Twitter is becoming even worse and I don't know a social platform that has not been tarnished yet. There's a lot that have become tarnished, unfortunately. It's not the same quality it once was at one point. There's a little more regulation. There's a little more going on that kept it on the straight and narrow and quality stuff. But unfortunately, it's all changed moving forward. I mean, Facebook used to be a little more truthful, but then all these other social media platforms came into effect. I mean, I remember when Facebook was a new thing. This is back in the early 2000s. The rest of it really didn't exist, but all this other stuff started popping up and information started becoming fake media, fake news, and everybody's just looking for eyes on. Everybody's just looking for interaction because that's what promotes getting advertisements and sponsors and money. This is the thing. The more eyes on something, whether or not it's true or not, usually ends up it gets bigger deals, bigger paychecks, because advertisers want to put themselves in front of those eyes to promote sales. So people started spinning a whole bunch of BS, started spinning fake news, started manipulating facts, causing drama, anything that they could to get more subscribers, more followers, and it went ballistic. Now it's to the point where you don't even know what's real anymore. You don't even know if actually mainstream news is real anymore. And everybody's in disbelief. And on the other side, everybody's trying to figure out what's true and what's not. You got a bunch of people over here thinking that this particular site is valid, or this particular news channel is valid, or this particular person on social media is valid. And then you got another group on the other side going, no. That's fake news. That's wrong. That's not real. I don't know what you're talking about. So who do you believe anymore? How do you find credibility? How do you find what's real and what's not? Even the people are fake. Let's have acceptance for everybody, they say. Let's just be, lollipops and rainbows and everybody's right and nobody's wrong. And yes, you could do whatever you want to get followers, to get subscribers. Moralistically, in your heart and soul, you know something's wrong. You know something's not right. You know something is not real. But yet, in order to keep the majority of your audience, in order to keep your sponsors, in order to keep your advertisers, you're willing to say whatever it is. Oh yeah, accept everything. Realistically, in my heart of hearts, I know you're wrong, and I know I should be shouting out saying that you're doing wrong things, but no. I want to keep everybody here. I want to go with the I accept everybody. Do what you want. Everybody have fun. Nothing is wrong. You want to kill some? Go for it. You want to do this? You can go for it. I mean, that's not how realistically life is. And the fact that if you're selling off your moral code just to get profitability, that's pretty sad. I would never do that. In all the years I've been in social media and all the years I worked behind the scenes, I would never sell myself short. I would never sell my soul. I would never sell myself out. Ever. Why would I? At the end of the day, I have to live with myself. I have to know that what I said and what I put out there was how I felt. Because the worst thing is... the worst thing about lying and being untruthful is remembering what you lied about and what we're untruthful about. And it comes back to bite you in the ass. Truth is always the best policy because it's easy to remember the truth because it's the truth. It's not something that's made up. It's not something that's manifested. But for you to go on smiley faces like you don't have a care in the world and everything is good and, oh, you can be all that you can be. No. I'm sorry, but as much as we try to have a positive vibe in this world, you have to be realistic too. You can spread positivity. You can spread positive vibe. You can spread, cooperation and, getting along. You can spread a lot of positive messages, but don't start blurring your lines just because it suits your situation. Don't just blur the lines because it suits your financial gain. Don't blur the lines because, this will just make me look better. No, you don't blur the lines. You tell it as it is. You tell people how you feel. And you know what? People don't like what I say all the time. Not everybody hates it, but not everybody agrees with me. And there's going to be different mindsets, and I agree with you, but I always try to approach things in a logical mindset. I always try to view things as does this plus this equal this? Does it make sense? I have no prejudice against anybody. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what creed, culture. I don't care the melatonin in your skin. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about anything that's trivial except if you are a good person. Your actions speak louder to me than anything else. I don't care about the rest. If you're a good, positive, productive person that's actually doing good in the world and is nice to people and honest and has a good moral code, then great. We could be good friends. We can get along. I will support you. I will do anything I can for you. But you start giving me bullshit for your own end game goal, I don't want any of it at all. I understand times are tough. Times are hard for people, but that's never going to change in this world. It's never, ever going to change in this world. Times are going to be tough. Some people get lucky. Some people work their ass off. Some people are just scammers and they scam hardworking people out of that money. End of the day, you have to live with yourself. And however you want to spin it as an excuse for doing shitty things in this world, well, you have to live with yourself at that. The end of your journey currently on this planet, in your last moments, you're going to have to think back about all the stuff you did. And if you can rest your heart and soul at the end of it all, knowing that you did good and you had integrity and you were a good person, then great. Because that's where I want to be. I'm not going to sell you a bunch of BS just so I can get ratings. I'm not going to sell you a bunch of BS just so I can get sponsors or advertising, or I want to sell you a bunch of BS just to be liked. Hey, I was the outcast when I was growing up. When I was a kid, I was bullied like you wouldn't believe. I was picked on. I didn't have the nice clothes that everybody had. I was byway clothes and all that stuff. That's a longer story for another show, but in my years that I was picked on, it was kind of by no fault of my own. It was just situational. I mean, that changed later on when, I moved in with my mom, but I'm talking my early years when I was with my biological father. He was a cheap bastard, and well, I ended up paying the price for it at school. But again, that's another story. I know what it's like to be the outcast. I know what it's like to be picked on. And as I grew up, I became the advocate for those underdogs. When I grew up and I ended up getting popular, as they say it, and fame and, acceptance and my own ring of friends and my own crew, however you want to spin it, I still looked to the underdog. I still looked to the wallflower. I still looked to the outcast. I looked at all those people and I took them under my wing and said, hey, I know what it's like to be where you're at, and it sucks. But never was I fake to them. Straight up with them. Completely honest. Moving forward, held my integrity. I'm not saying I didn't do wrong, lessons to be learned and everything else, but I accepted people for who they were based on what they did in their actions. I don't want lip service. Actions speak louder than words. Don't give me a bunch of BS. So when I see social media and I see people that are BSing through their teeth, bullshitting like you wouldn't believe, and I'm not going to call out names, but there's a few accomplished influencers lately that I'm not going to throw them under the bus as much as I would like to, because I know that they worked hard for well over almost a decade to try to get to where they're at. I don't want to bring them down, but if they ever listen to my podcast, they could probably think back about the fact that, maybe I was wrong in selling out. Not me personally, but them. Maybe they could think back on it and think, you know what? Maybe Mad Morgan has a point here. Maybe he has a point. Maybe I did sell out. Maybe I spun the whole, accept everybody no matter what they do kind of BS just so I can get ahead, get more followers, get bigger. And I understand the frustration of being in social media and trying to build your way up the ladder and be successful. Some people just have it easy. It's like overnight, boom, they're a sensation. And there's others that have been working at it for decades, or at least over a decade, and they're finally coming into the limelight, and it's like, great, but don't sell out. You struggled this far to get to where you are, don't sell out. Don't start selling out a whole bunch of BS because you figure that's going to keep the motivation or going up the hill of popularity and subscribers and everything. Don't sell out. Okay, we all got bills to pay. It sucks. But frankly, I would say my integrity counts more at the end of the day than selling out for the almighty dollar. I mean, I'm a strong believer that money is the root of all evil, but don't sell out. Don't give fakeness for follows. Fakeness for follows is just lame. At the end of the day, I want to be remembered for me being honest with you, my audience, and I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you being here. It means a lot to me because I give up my limited free time that I have to be here for you, to make these episodes, and to share my views, to hopefully make a positive change in your world, give you something to think about. What's the way of putting it? Educate, entertain, enlighten. Maybe even help you evolve a little. And that's why I'm here. That's why I give up my free time to put the effort to give you a good show and good episodes and help you out. I'm here to help out others. It costs money. Yeah, it does cost money. It costs my time. It costs a lot of different factors, but I'm doing what I can because I'm trying to make a change in the world. So back to the social media thing. Fakeness for follows, please. If you're a creator, even aspiring one, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't sell out just to get sponsors and audience and followers and subscribers. I mean, all hand in hand, don't do that because honestly, have some integrity. Do the right thing. I know you've worked hard, some of you out there, and you figure it's your chance to get an opportunity, but you will be gone as soon as your BS is noticed. So if you be honest from the beginning, you're good to go. Okay, so let's go on to our applauding bad behavior. And this is things that, it's such a wide net. It's such a wide area for this particular topic when it comes to applauding bad behavior. It is incredible when I see these despicable acts, again, on social media, that people applaud. And you get these really stupid comments, these irrational, insensitive, completely, like these people that leave these comments should seriously have their head checked because they are wrong. Psychologically, I think they need help. To applaud, I mean, if it's not the completely disgusting attacks from one person to another, it's accidents that happen. It is unlawful acts that happen, from looting to crime to shootings. I mean, all this nightmare stuff. So applauding bad behavior, I just can't believe people do this. You think it's funny? You think it's funny that people hurt themselves, get killed, get maimed, break into places, loot places? how is that funny? Because I don't know if people realize that when you do that, and for some reason you're ignorant to think that it's covered by insurance. You know, a percentage of it is actually covered by insurance, but let me tell you about the other effect stuff like that happens. And this is why people should be a little more aware of their actions, because I think people really lose sight of the big picture. They only see the immediate and they think there's always a justification for their bad actions, but there's not. There's consequences. Always going to be consequences. So that example I was mentioning earlier on about looting and breaking into places and everything. Here's the thing. You do that. You loot a place. Like I saw a video recently about this mass looting of a 7-Eleven stateside, and it was disgusting. Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. Absolutely. Wow. I couldn't believe it. Those bunch of thieving morons. So here's what's going to happen. Most likely what's going to happen is this. One, okay, great. You got some free stuff. Now you're tarnished. You have a bad moral sense to you. You've done wrong. You're a thief. You're a thief. You're a crook. You've entered that small percentage of despicable criminals. But here's the long term on this. Although you might think it's all insurance and the companies made tons of money and then they can afford to lose a few $1,000s worth of products and everything, you know what else is going to happen? That store is really going to look at this and go, is it worth our time and our money and our investment for dealing with this damage and these extra costs? Probably not. So they're going to do one of two things. They're either going to raise the prices in that store, which they'll have to raise it because they'll actually have to get security, private security, in order to protect that store, or they'll just close the store altogether. So the store gets closed altogether and other stores follow suit because that's how it works. So now that friendly, convenient store that you and your buddies decided to loot and steal from has lost so much interest of being there. They don't feel safe. They feel it's going to happen again. They don't want to invest more money into loss. They've closed shop. And a whole bunch of other stores close shop too because they don't like the safety of the neighborhood. So now that store or series of stores on the block, if they don't charge you an arm and a leg to cover their costs of the loss because of your stupidity, are basically moving across town to where it's safer. Moving across town to where it's safer. So now there's no stores. There's no economy in your area. There's no jobs. Guess what? Your environment, your neighborhood goes down the shitter. It's what happens. Property values go down. Before you know it, it's slums. And you know who's to blame for that? Yeah, it's you and everybody that decided to loot the place and steal from the place and commit crime against the place. It's on you. You did this. Nobody else, not big business. It's you. And not even mention the social impact because caught on camera. So you wondering, well, you think that they actually, this thing about people are like, oh, you're stereotyping me and you're, profiling me. Well, when you kind of catch certain things seem to be from a certain demographic, kind of makes you wonder, right? Keep seeing a repetition over and over again of the same thing. You kind of wonder why people go a certain direction. Maybe something you should think about. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's the best expression I could use at this point. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Your actions speak volumes and they represent people around you, people that associate with you. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's just one example I wanted to give when it comes to applauding bad behavior, because the thing is that you read the comments on stupid posts like this and people are like, oh yeah, get yours. Oh, no worries. The company will survive. Oh yeah, it's okay. Fine, do it. Oh yeah. And they have a cheering crowd for people committing crime. But okay, would those people still be a cheering crowd if that crime was happening to them in their neighborhood? Probably not. Probably not indeed. Or if it was a violent crime was happening to them, do you think that they would cheer it on? No. People get stupid online. People get stupid when it comes to social media. They say stuff and do stuff. Well, they say stuff because you can't really do stuff that they wouldn't do in real life. They feel they have no consequence. I still say it. It's like these idiots that do these stupid things. They feel they have no consequence. There's always consequence, folks. So I'm going to look at another thing. I think it's been mentioned a few times online and people get grief for this. People actually get banned for this on social media when you criticize somebody that works in the flesh trade but doesn't fully work in the flesh trade. And this is the one thing that bugs me. I do not believe that sexiness and sexuality and sexual conduct and actions and behaviors and innuendos belong in social media, on the creative. You can't really call yourself a creator if you're wearing wearing a micro bikini and standing in front of a camera, which is getting you your views, but you're not actually doing anything. And you might hate me for that. You might disagree with me. Oh, that's so wrong. You should support people regardless so they feel confident in their sexuality. No, it's a cheap shot. And you cannot say they work hard because prancing around in next to nothing isn't really working now, is it? Okay. There's sites for that, like Chatterbaits and a bunch of other sites, Pornhub. If you want to get naked on camera for followers and people to watch you because you need the attention or whatever your end goal is, there are sites for that. Keep it off mainstream social media. Keep it off Twitter. Keep it off Twitch. Keep it off platforms like this that kids can see, that families can see. You're not setting a good role model, a good example for other people. And I know that I have a daughter. I worry about what my daughter looks at this and saying, oh, that's socially acceptable. I think I'm going to get half naked on camera because I will get a whole bunch of subscribers and followers. Stop thinking, again, as I mentioned, Fakeness for follows, stop thinking about yourself so much. As a content creator, and as I said, if you're half naked, you're not really creating. When you work in social media, you become influential and you set examples that young minds try to understand and try to wrap their heads around and try to come to terms with and cope with. And if you're putting out that this actions and behavior is correct, it's really going to be misleading, especially when they follow in these footsteps and it really comes to haunt them when they actually do decide to get out of that crazy world, do decide to go to college or university or get an education and get a good job. And then it comes back to haunt them when a company says, hey, I'm sorry, you can't work for us because we don't think that the image that you present represents what we're trying to establish in our company, our wholesome family-based company. You know, we've discovered that you've engaged in these scandalous, activities and everything. So I'm sorry, we can't offer you that good paying job that will give you a good future with a family and a house and all that stuff. That's up to you. Don't get me wrong. There's no problem with the sex trade. I used to be a driver for dancers, for strippers. It's fine. And I've known people that have basically danced as a job. It was a profession. They kept it completely compartmentalized. Here was stripping. I strip. I get paid. I do the whole facade, the whole act I have to do while I'm at work, but I'm different outside of work. I don't bring work home, completely separate worlds, end of story. And I've met dancers like that, and I've worked with them, and I've talked with them, and they completely keep it separate, and they keep it clean, and they keep it on the up and up. And I applaud them for that. And I applaud anybody, if you want to work in the sex field, by your own choice, by your own needs for whatever you need to, by your own decision, hey, be safe about it, have a good life. I support you 110% by all means. I support anybody that wants to make a decision in their life that is not going to hurt anybody. Don't hurt anybody, do what you will. That's fine with me. That's fine with me. You want to lay on your back and take it every which way but loose? Hey, that's up to you. I'm not going to hold that against you. Be safe about it. Be right about it. Take all the precautions needed. At the end of the day, if you're right with yourself and have no problem with it, great. But when you put it on social media, when social media is supposed to be playful, passing time, jokes, laughs, everything else, and then that you start putting out all these rude and raunchy, guys and girls, by the way, rude and raunchy half-naked things and suggestive content and innuendos. No, it has to be kept behind a wall that leaves it for the correct audience of a certain age. Keep it to private rooms. Keep it to private platforms that are not mainstream that kids can stumble across or young minds can stumble across. And the fact that actual creators applaud this and say, oh, well, that's not right. You shouldn't bring people down. They're hardworking too. Honestly, are you serious? Do you actually believe your own bullshit when you as an actual creator are complimenting people that take the easy way out? The easy way out. Seriously. Taking off your clothes is not hard. Making a whole bunch of slurping sounds and making a whole bunch of sound effects for sexual innuendo because people are lonely and want to get off on that. Okay, and that's not an easy way out? It is an easy way out. I'm sorry. Move it to the sex sites. Don't put it on Twitter. Don't put it on Facebook. Don't put it on Twitch. Don't put it on Instagram. Don't put it on those platforms. Leave it to the sex sites. There's enough of them out there. There's a big one that's free. It's called, Pornhub. Hell, you could take it over to Chatterbaits. That's free too. you know, and there's a bunch of other sites like this. They're out there. All you got to do is search for anything innocent or slightly suggestive on Google, and these ads will pop up. Safe search or not, they have a way of getting through to you. But keep it off the general population where families and kids can see it. That's all I'm saying. But I'm more disappointed in creators that actually applaud this and saying that these flesh sellers, as I call them, actually do hard work. I'm sorry. There might be a little bit of hard work into it, but the intents behind it, it's just setting a bad example. And people might hate me for that. That's fine. Those, you know, minded individuals that can't put a separation between the two and, you know, say that I'm wrong for being so closed-minded and blah, 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 blah. Well, whatever. But there's got to be a divide here. There are certain people that want to live a certain life a certain way, and there are others that do it a different way. And that's up to you. At the end of the day, it's your moral code you have to think about if you even have any morals. But don't be a hardworking actual creator and give some bullshit line about the fact that you support these flesh sellers. In my opinion, that's just wrong. You know who you are. I know you do know who you are, because there's been enough people that have tried to speak out, like myself, about the fact that we're disappointed in the fact that social media allows this. And the double standard, don't even get me started. I've posted comments and reported accounts for certain things that, well, there's leniency given towards a certain demographic because, well, they've been persecuted. But if it was the opposite way around, I would get the ban hammer put on me. But no. I'm Caucasian, so I have no rights at this point in today's world, unfortunately. Everybody else has rights and can do whatever the hell they want, but if you're Caucasian, forget about it. You are wrong. Somebody's really got to redefine these rules so everybody's equal. Everybody's equal. Everybody who does right deserves equal rights, liberties, and security. End of story. As I said, I don't care where you're from. But fakeness or follows, plotting bad behavior, come on now. Let's take another reality check here. Okay, let's move it on. So here's another thing I noticed on social media, which I really don't understand. I'm trying to wrap my head around this one. Once upon a time, a lot of social media sites, social platforms had a couple of things. A like and a dislike. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Pretty straightforward. Pretty much got the point across. Either you like it or you don't like it. And I guess there's a big movement about acceptance for everybody and positivity for everybody. Oh, let's remove the dislikes. Let's remove the I don't likes. Let's remove the disapprovals because that will just breed trolls and toxic people. No, because actually I think it bred more. And as much as you try to control all this negativity, you should be focusing on the people that are negative and the problems that they're having. Get them help. Put other stuff in front of them to help them deal with these issues that they're having. And there should be more realistic dealings when it comes to comments and posts. Removing a dislike button is not really beneficial because people are just going to continue to make bad content and continue to make negative content. Just content that frankly should not be even publicly shown content. Because how else do you report certain content? Report a video? That goes on deaf ears. It all depends on who's the other end in the monitoring room at the time, whether or not they accept it. Forget about company standards. If there's some young kid that's monitoring that, and you report some video of some guy skateboarding and he happens to be a skater, although the content for the skateboarding was actually completely inappropriate and should be removed, if the guy reviewing it's a skateboarder and he thought, oh wow, man, that's just rad and cool, most likely he's going to say, no, we're sorry, we didn't find that this broke any standards. But if you put a thumbs down, if you put a dislike, if you put something that does not have to be monitored or judged, yes, can it be abused? Sure. Can it be abused the other way as well? Yes, it can be. Likes can be abused. Absolutely. Comments can be abused. There are tons of services out there that people can pay to generate likes and to generate comments and generate views. It's a completely fake statistic. And don't even get me started on the fact that the platforms are already against you, like YouTube. Little known fact, folks, YouTube actually has an attractiveness algorithm, believe it or not. Yes, if it does not find you visually appealing, it does not push your videos. Yeah, I know. Pretty shady crap, eh? Pretty shady. Pretty wrong in my opinion. So much for an equally fair platform, which frankly, unfair. It's very unfair because I've worked with some creators that really put their life, heart, and soul into creating and trying to make good content and trying to make a change and trying to help people and trying to put good content out there and not realizing all the obstacles against them. Not to mention, there are millions upon millions of people trying to be getting their 15 seconds or 15 minutes of fame out there. And they're putting out a lot of bad crap content. And see, this is where all this comes together, right? So people want their 15 minutes of fame. So they figure, okay, how are people doing? Okay, so they're putting up stupid videos, putting up pet videos. Oh, they're putting up these videos. Okay, they're stealing other videos from here and posting it their own. Okay, they're doing that. Okay, we got to do that. So everybody's looking at all these shortcuts, all these ways that they can go about doing this. And when it all comes down to it, I see a large population of the female side of things that want to speed up the process to start taking off the clothes, start looking all sexy, start doing these sound videos. What do you call them? ASMR or something, whatever, and all sexuality and, slurping and sexual sounds and whatever they call it for meditation, but it's not really meditation. It's turned more of, hey, let's see if I could turn you on with sucking on your earlobe. And it's like, man, that's just a cheap shot. It's a cheap shot. What's selling here? Sex is selling, not content. This isn't content. It's pathetic what it is. But okay, so all the other traditional methods don't work. Like, I don't know, making instructional videos. Okay, those hold some value. Making some how-to videos, those hold value. Oh, how to make money. Okay, now we're cutting in the corner. So somebody found a little tidbit, made a little video, threw it out there, and everybody jumps on it because everybody wants free and quick money. But again, overdone, but has some merit and will hold some value. But then what? Unboxing videos? Review videos? Okay. But eventually the market is flooded with this stuff. And those that have it on lockdown are doing it so well, it's probably a better production than even commercials you see on TV. Like, some people really fine tune their craft. They really hone in on their abilities. They constantly try to improve. They constantly have the time. It's usually people that have a lot of free time that can be able to do this. Let me tell you, having worked in the industry, it's a lot of work to make video. It really is. Now we're talking quality video. We're not just, let's snap a video of this event that's going on and then post it. No. I'm talking about creating content, the lighting, the camera angles, the cameras, the sound, the special effects, the graphics, everything that goes into a quality production. We're not just talking record and post online. That's what I call sensational videos and viral videos and all that BS. Those are short-lived. I'm talking about content that actually lasts long-term. There's some creators out there that will just blow your mind with what they can do. And they are amazing. And they are true creators to the definition of the word creators. And don't get me wrong, these half-naked people, okay, they're attractive. And yeah, it's fun to see, but it's fun to see it in the environment it's meant to be in. Don't put it on mainstream social media. Come on now. So fakeness for follows. Don't be fake. Don't be fake. Don't be fake. Don't be fake. Be honest, true. Be who you truly are. Let's just put it this way. Act the way that you would in real life if somebody's in front of you. Act the way that you would be double checked on your credibility to what you said and agreed with online in real life, and actually be willing to back it up with everything you own. Tell me at that point, if you're willing to risk everything you have for what you say that what you support in this whole fakeness for follows thing, if you're willing to risk everything you have to back up what you said online that you agreed with in order to retain your followers and your subscribers, then that's the way you got to look at it. If you're willing to risk it all, because you are going to risk it all, because eventually the other shoe drops, the true colors come out, and they see you for who you are. Don't be fake for follows. Be truly who you are. You can play the game, sure, play the game, sell out, do whatever you're going to do, but that lacks integrity. It really does lack integrity. And applauding bad behavior, moral check. Would you be willing to do certain things? I mean, I understand some people have to do certain things. I know some people get into a tight pinch. Some people have responsibilities, people that rely on them. They have to take desperate measures in order to get by. And those people, I understand. You got to do what you got to do. It goes against your moral code. It goes against everything you believe in. I understand that. Do what you got to do. It sucks. I understand. I've had to do some shitty jobs too to get by in order to keep a roof over my head, food in my stomach. It comes to that point at times. Doesn't mean you have to stay there forever, But there's those that get comfortable with that and exploit it for all it's worth. And guess what? All you listeners, you visitors, you followers that fall for it and think that because you follow and because you make all these sweet comments and everything else that you're actually going to get with this person, reality check, it doesn't work that way. It's all a facade. It's like going to a strip club and think that the stripper actually truly likes you. No, you're a paycheck. They don't truly like you. You can like them, you can follow them, you can make all these sweet comments in the chat and leave your comments that are all sweet and you think that they should be head over heels for you, but guess what? It doesn't work that way. The strippers don't really like you. They want the tips. They want the champagne room dance. That's all they're looking for. You're a paycheck to them. I hate to break it to you. So fakeness for follows, that's pretty much it. It's the stripper saying that they like you, but they truly just want you to pay for another dance. Plotting bad behavior. Hey, how are people going to learn? Well, how are people going to learn if you keep supporting bad behavior? The only way that people are going to grow and improve is to actually tell them what they're doing wrong, right? It's like a child. If you don't course correct a child, they're never going to learn right from wrong. If you don't point it out to them what's wrong, they're going to think it's right and they're just going to move forward with it. And it's sad, but you got to bite the bullet. Yeah, okay, there's going to be people that don't agree with me, and I'm okay with that. But this is my opinion. My soapbox. You don't like it? By all means, check another channel out. I'm not hurting anybody by speaking the truth, but at least I'm not bullshitting you. At least I'm telling you cut and dry, realistically, and I'm hoping you can read exactly the message I'm saying here. I support everybody if you're good. If your actions are good, your morals are good, you lead a good life if you're honest and true, great. I don't care what you do for a living. And if you need to work in the sex trade or take off your clothes, fine. Keep it where it belongs. Get it out of visuals of kids and families on social media that anybody can stumble across. Take it to those sites that take care of that stuff. Okay, don't play in the gray area. That's just wrong. And also crime and stuff. And all these one-way perceptions, camera visuals that are taken of law enforcement to discredit them and make them look bad because the angle you picked was perfect, to make them look really bad, but you're not really covering the whole situation. There's always 2 or 3 sides to different stories. You got to really keep that in mind. Just because you're seeing it from one angle and you're getting all angry and up in arms because the way that angle makes it look is that that's the truth. Okay, great. But do you know that's the truth? Were you there to see the truth? Were you there to see what led up to this? Don't applaud bad behavior if you don't know all the facts. And that includes anything you see online, because a lot of what's online is fake. A lot of what's online, it is stupid because the internet was supposed to be an information superhighway to help educate us and evolve us. If anything, it's corrupted us and made us worse. Misinformation. Do you realize in 5 minutes, if not less, I could make up a website, a full domain. I can make it look pretty and so convincing. 5 minutes, I can do this. I can get it registered, hosted, online, pretty, everything else, looking great, looking 100% legit in 5 minutes. And at the same time, I can coordinate putting it in front of your face and making you believe it. I've proven this. I've proven this to my kid. I proved this to my kid once. She was like, no, you can't do that. Yep. I wanted to show her about social media stuff online and how it is and how it can instantly be created overnight within seconds. It's not that difficult. So be careful what you believe out there. There's a lot of fakeness. There is some good credibility online, not on social media. Social media is a time waster. It's entertaining. That's all it is. And then if people like you, if you have a knack for it, great. People are going to watch you and advertisers are going to pay you to advertise them to that audience. And that's awesome. That's awesome. It all depends on what your motivation is for why you do what you do. I know what I do. Other creators do what they do for whatever reasons. Creators do what they do. We got people that are getting upset because they want the fame and fortune, or at least the fame, but that's not up to them. They can bitch and complain and tantrum all they want. Hell, I would have been gone a long time ago if I thought that I could be an instant overnight sensation. One time I thought I could with some of the creators that I've supported in the past. But now my goal is to help educate the world, help enlighten the world, help to evolve the world, because we're in some really crucial times right now. So speaking about correcting failure, that's another thing as we, wind this episode down. Correcting failures. And that's a big thing when it comes to the planet right now. We have a really big failure of what we're doing that needs to be corrected, and people really have to get on board with this. Other than the fact that people have exploited the COVID masks and used them to commit crimes and to do malicious acts and all that stuff, other than the fact that for some reason Putin decided that he wanted more land than to attack a completely peaceful country, besides the fact that they have all these atrocities and all these bad things that are happening in the world, which for some reason doesn't need to happen, but people just can't see the overall big picture. If we all cooperate and get along, the world would be a better place. I don't understand how people cannot logically see this. People are greedy, people are money hungry, people are power hungry. It's so stupid that we can't all just get along and sit down at the table and say, hey, how can we all have a better life? We can provide for everybody on this planet. We can get everybody a roof over their head, clean water to drink, and food in their stomachs. It can be done worldwide, across the table, across the board. We can do this. We have the means, we have the technology. But greed and power are two things that are preventing this from happening. And you know what goes along with greed and power? A lack of empathy for anybody other than the almighty dollar or the power structure or the control. Unfortunately, that's the reality of it. And right now, this greed and this power-hungry struggle, different places in the world, different countries in the world, unfortunately, it's costing the whole world. It's costing everybody. That's because of climate change. Number one, mission critical that we should be taking a look at and care of and actually doing something about, hands down, without even, we shouldn't even be doing anything else. The whole world should not be doing anything else right now, but it's become like a catch line. It's become a side venture. It's become something that is completely pushed to the side and just talked about in small talk during conversations, during, casual get-togethers or whatever about climate change and the climate crisis. It's here, folks. And that's one thing. What about correcting failures? Well, you know what? I would give a big thumbs down and a big dislike to the way the world powers are doing things and the way countries are doing things. To everybody that's in power, to everybody that controls a people, to everybody that actually is supposed to be taking care of their populations and care of their citizens, are all doing a piss poor job. Collectively, every country, every power, every person should be collectively getting together and working this out and getting on this whole climate crisis. I'm so pissed off at humanity right now for so many reasons. But the biggest thing that pisses me off is the fact is that I do my part. I do my part every single day to do what this planet needs. But I am one of 8 billion people, and I can't do it all. There's more people like me, like-minded like me, for sure, but I can't do it all. Everybody's got to get on board on this, but some people are just waving the responsibility like it's somebody else's responsibility. Correcting failures, my friend. As humanity, a good portion of us have failed big time. We really have to question our integrity. We really have to get some integrity. We really have to smarten up, and we have to be the change the world needs. I'm not just saying this as buzzwords, my friends. I am saying this because it's important. We have to be the change the world needs. We have to stop fighting. We have to start arguing. We have to start one-upping each other. We have to stop doing that. We have to stop trampling each other down when we should be building each other up. I know there's going to be some of you that are like, oh, well, weren't you just trampling on those half-naked people on Tinder and not Tinder, but Twitch, and the social media people are half naked and sexy outfits, blah, 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 blah. Weren't you just cutting them down? I was trying to explain a point on that. Maybe you missed it. Take it to where it belongs. It doesn't belong on mainstream social media. That was my point. I'm not cutting people down. I'm trying to help people get perspective. I'm trying to help people understand that there's a time and a place for everything. And there's young, impressionable minds that I see that are getting corrupted over the last 10, 20 years because of social media and because of the internet that has caused a lot of pain and grief and has led to a lot of bigger problems like mass shootings. Oh yeah. Well, they got social media or internet influence. Come on now. Travel of information is within seconds now, because halfway across the planet, if not all the way around the world, within seconds. Influence very easily. There's boards out there. There's forums out there. There's a whole bunch of crazies in the deep, dark places. Honestly, we have to collectively work together. Everybody. don't just look at your selfish needs and your perverted natures and all this stuff. And if your mind's not right, get help. If you're lonely, be nicer and change your attitude. There are ways to get solutions to every problem. If you're hurting, somebody's there to help. Right now, the planet's hurting. Right now, the planet needs help. And it's up to us as the inhabitants of this planet to do something about it. So yeah, I know I started off with fake followers and plotting bad behavior and the whole social media thing, but this is where one thing that people that have that limelight when it comes to social media and the audiences should be using that power they have, not to just make money. I know we got bills to pay, but some are just going a little ballistic. Don't just use it to make money. Use your influence to be the change the world needs. Start a campaign, start a movement to change and help the world problems. Okay, it's not fashionable. It's not popular. It's not what's going to actually get the numbers. I understand that. But devote a certain percentage of your media to this. A certain percentage of your media you should devote to helping issues when it comes to society, when it comes to the world. This should be something that you should be doing. You know, if you devoted a small percentage of your showtime once a week to addressing concerns in society or the world, like whether it be climate change issues or whether or not it be working on crime or mental issues, you know, if you have the audience, you should be using that to turn that fakeness for follows to something as meaningful and going to make a legacy and a change in the world. Because otherwise, what are you? You're used up has-been. You came, you went, you had your spotlight, you made your money. End of story, you're gone. People don't remember you. You become a footnote. But if you keep the ball rolling and make a positive change, hey, they make monuments to you. They put you in history books. You actually get credibility for actually doing something good, something that's positive, something that helps humanity and helps the planet. I encourage creators to do that. Stop worrying about the dollars. Stop worrying about the attention. Start worrying about actually using the power that you have, other than making yourself rich and have a comfortable life and a nice cushy little pillow for your tush, and use it towards making a positive change in society and the world as a whole. I encourage you to do this. I know, who am I? I'm just some guy that has a podcast. And that's fine, whatever. But at least I have integrity. At least I have a moral code. And at the end of the day, I can sleep well because I know that I'm doing right. And I know that I'm not selling myself short. I know at the end of it all, I can hold my head up true and say, hey, you know what? I care about my fellow person. I care about good people. I live a good life. I do good actions. I don't just give a bunch of bullshit. I actually do what I say I'm going to do. I actually stand behind what I say. I do what I actually do what I say I do. I don't bullshit. You can ask me, I don't lie. I find it maybe when I was younger I did. When I was a kid, I didn't know any better. Maybe I've told a few white lies now and then, but as I got older, it's like, what's the point in lying? Take it as it is. Whether you accept it, whether you not accept it. If you accept it, great. If you don't accept it, well, that's kind of on you. I mean, this is the way I am. I'm not going to bullshit you. But at the end of the day, I'm not self-serving. At the end of the day, I'm not looking to just serve whatever I need and we all have needs. I understand that. But if you have people that rely on you, you got to think about that as well. But we won't stray off topic on that one. But I am encouraging any social media creator, any creator by the true definition of the word, actually, as I said, just stay genuine and true when it comes to your content and the message that you're putting out there. And I understand you got bills and I understand you're on a mission, but just be awesome. I mean, I could start throwing some names around like, I'm not going to throw some names out there. There's a lot of good creators I've met that frankly deserve credibility, and I might do that in another show, but let's just say keep an eye on some of the creators and look into the history of how long they've been doing what they're doing. Maybe that'll help you get you to give them a little bit more support. Because I said, if you actually look at YouTube sometime, look at a channel on YouTube and go to the About section of that particular channel and see when they started that channel. It doesn't mean that's when they actually started creating stuff on a regular basis. It just means when they started that particular channel. Cross compare that with their videos that are posted. So if that date, say, is 2010 and their first videos didn't start popping up until 2016, chances are, they didn't start until 2016. They just created the channel back in 2010. But even that's a lot of years, especially if that content stays steady. And if you cross compare that on Social Blades, you can actually see the progress it took for them and how long they've been working at it. Selfless hours of content, talking to empty rooms and no visitors, and being constant and making it nice and making it enjoyable and doing whatever they can, but they're not getting the recognition. Support your small and little creators. And hopefully, if you are a creator that's up and coming, don't forget your hard times. Don't forget where you started. Don't forget your morals and your ethics and empathy for others, and use your platform and fame for something good in this world and in the greater scheme of things. Do good with that power you have. Don't be destructive. Don't be hurtful. Don't be spiteful. Don't be destructive. Be positive, be supportive, and make the change, because we need help right now. There's so much to be saying, and this is why I'm here, because this is why I made the podcast, because I had to get the message out, and I have to get people to think about things. This is why I'm here. As a creator, I hope you know why you're here. So that's my correcting failures on that last thing. We're failing the planet. We're failing each other. We need to make a change on that. So it's been another week. I want to thank you very much for being here for episode 4 of Get Off My Soapbox podcast. I do appreciate it. I work to make it better and better and better. I make touches and tweaks when it comes to the main website of GetOffMySoapbox.com. Patreon, I believe is how you pronounce it. Patreon, we've changed the tiers up. We made some improvements on there. Feel free to check that out. Patreon/GetOffMySoapbox. And you will find all these social media links at the top of the page on GetOffMySoapbox.com. There's a whole bunch of social media links on that page. Also, midway down, I have a few other links that you can check on that main page of GetOffMySoapbox.com. But the majority of my social links, like Patreon and everything else, are at the top of that page. Check them out. If you can offer some support, we greatly appreciate it. We have put a lot of time and investment into the show, into the equipment, into the services that we use to compile it all together, to put it out there for you. It just costs money. And so if you can help us out with those costs, that'd be great. I don't mind putting out of pocket to be here for you guys and putting the time and effort, but if you could help alleviate that strain, because we all have bills these days, and gas is expensive and food's expensive. So there is a cost that goes into this. Other than time and commitment, there is a financial cost that we take a loss to, as most creators do. This is why, as some people will make these rude comments on Twitter, oh, why don't you go beg for some more money? Listen, Dick, I'll tell you, it costs creators a lot. We're not begging for money. We're saying, hey, if you can give a little support, we appreciate it, because it's coming out of our pockets. It's coming away from other places that we could put this money, like food and bills and clothes and rents or mortgages. So don't start being a dick saying that we're begging for money. Maybe Johnny, that's still living in mommy's basement, is 14 years old, doesn't have any bills, but there are a big majority of content creators that are adults that have bills and responsibilities. We're not begging for money. We're basically saying, hey, you know what? If you can help us out, if you can donate a little to help alleviate our costs, that helps us out. I enjoy putting in the time into what I do. Okay. I don't have a lot of free time, but I do devote my time to being here to make these episodes for you. If you can help me out with the costs, even more, I appreciate that. A few bucks here and there, it does add up. Enough people jump on board, it covers my costs. We're good to go. And that way I'm not out of pocket. I'm just out of time. And speaking of out of time, yes, as I mentioned, I'm going to wrap this up. Please check out GetOffMySoapbox.com for more information on this show of Get Off My Soapbox, and also our daily show of Soapbox Daily, which you can reach Monday to Friday, usually posted before 12 noon Eastern. It is roughly about 3 to 5 minutes, and we do our best to cover a topic of the day or something that just comes in mind. We try to cover it up within 3 to 5 minutes. Sometimes it goes a little longer. We thank you for your patience on that one. Other than that, hey, you know what? Keep your integrity in check. By all means, please. Be the change the world needs. I don't want to sound like a doomsday advertisement, but we do need to do a lot of improvements in this world. We're running out of time, my friends. I'm not going to use my word, my fam, because I think it's so tarnished at this point. But my listeners, and I thank you again for being here, we have a lot to do, and I'm sorry, it's everybody's responsibility. We have to jump on board. I don't want to be saying in 10 years from now, hey, I told you so, but we gotta get on this. Do what you can. Look into your community. Talk to your politicians. Talk to anybody that can make changes in your local area, in your country, in your city. We have to work on saving the planet. We have to know what we can do. We have to do more of it. A lot more of it. We're not on track. We have to be doing at least a good 20 to 50 times more than what we're doing now. And we have to be serious about working on climate change and saving this planet. So get on that. That's my message on that. I'm going to stop babbling. I'm going to wrap this up for this week. Again, thank you for being here. I'm your host, Mad Morgan. As always, awesome having you here. I will see you, those who listen to me daily, tomorrow morning for Soapbox Daily. Other than that, I will see the rest of you that tune in every Wednesday evening for Get Off My Soapbox podcast. I will see you next week. And one final thing, I would like to hear some feedback from you, your views on our show topics, and of course our shows. So if you could please go to Twitter/Mad Soapbox and let me know what you feel about our episodes, about what we've discussed. Share your views and comments. I would love to hear from you. A little bit of feedback helps me improve the show, lets me know what you like and you don't like, and things that you'd like to hear about down the road. I would very much appreciate that. So again, Mad Soapbox on Twitter. Please do that if you could. Hey, you know what? I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you have a great evening, or for that matter, a great week, depending on when you tune in. And I will see you next episode. Bye for now.
That's all for this episode of Get Off My Soapbox podcast. Appreciate you tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, please share it with others, post it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from Mad Morgan, head over to GetOffMySoapbox.com for links and details. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow so you don't miss the next episode.